Well, hello and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'm at quite an unusual location. I'm at a place called RAF Holbeach, which is right up on the southern end of the Wash in Lincolnshire in East Anglia in the UK. And that building you see behind me is the control tower for a huge Royal Air Force bombing range in the marsh that's all laid out before me here. Now, the bombing range typically is used during the daytime. They do have night exercises as well, but I've checked the timetables. There are no bombings planned for this evening. And this structure just caught my eye as being quite unique and quite interesting, really. It just overlooks the whole of this marshland in front of me, and in about an hour, when it gets dark, the Milky Way is going to line up really beautifully behind this tower. So that's what I'm here to shoot tonight. We've got a little bit of true darkness this evening, although we've also got a little bit of cloud in the sky as well, which is sort of defying the forecast at the moment. Hopefully that will start to dissipate. I think we'll still get some good images either way. We've got a moon that will be rising, I think about 11:30, something like that. So actually before true darkness occurs. But that moon is about a 35% crescent, so not massive, shouldn't interfere too much. And I'm hoping that with enough data, I'll still be able to get a great shot of the Milky Way behind this control tower. It was a bit of an epic journey getting here, actually quite beautiful across the fens, through what I'd call the proper fens, so up through March and Wisbeach, really quite interesting areas, and it really does feel, by the time you got here, that you were sort of getting to the end of the earth. Let's get on with it. Now, you can probably hear underneath my feet just how squelchy the terrain is. I think the tide is coming in, so this area is only going to get more marshy over the course of the evening. And so for that reason, because there's a nice channel of water here that acts almost as a lead-in line to the control tower, I'm actually going to shoot my foreground in the blue hour, which is not something I ordinarily do. The second reason for doing that is within the control tower there are a couple of lights on, what looks like an emergency exit kind of green LED, and another light perhaps from a computer screen or something like that. And I'm worried if I leave it until dark and do a very long exposure for the foreground, I'm going to end up with some challenges getting the exposure right for that control tower. So I'm going to use this little peninsula here in this channel as my tripod site, and then get the control tower lined up. And then the Milky Way will drop down sort of from top left of the frame to bottom right of the frame. Okay, so I'm using here the Sigma Art 24mm f1.4 lens on the modified Canon 6D. Okay, for my foreground exposure, my initial test shot is going to be at 15 seconds f5 and ISO 1600. So let's give that a go. Histogram looks like it could do with pushing to the right a little bit. So I don't really want to push up the ISO, but what I am going to do is increase the length of the exposure to maybe 25 seconds. There we go. The reason I'm shooting at f5, which is quite a narrow aperture for this time of night, is just to try to get as much of this foreground in focus as possible, as well as the control tower. I could do a focus stack, but honestly, it's a bit of a faff. Just notice as well, there's some nice reflections of the control tower down here, so I may well even bring the camera back a bit and try an alternative foreground right down low here to try and get some of these reflections of the control tower. So it's always worth, when you find a composition you like, just to try different heights of the tripod, because sometimes you can find something which really works that you would miss if you just stayed at kind of normal eye level. Let's wait for long exposure noise reduction to finish, and okay, that is perfect, absolutely perfect, awesome. Okay, in a second we're going to set up the sky shots, and then I'm also going to set up a star trail shot from the other side of the control tower, just facing north. Okay, so north is that way. You can probably see just to the right of the control tower, sort of the bottom end of, or the top end of Perseus and Cassiopeia above it. Still a little bit of cloud in that direction at the moment, which I'm hoping is going to disappear, but I think this is where I'm going to do my star trails from, and I think I'm going to do it in portrait orientation at 35 millimeters. So I need to get nice and low. Well, rather annoyingly, as you can probably see behind me, just as it's getting dark, and probably only 15 minutes before the moon comes up, we've got some cloud, which is rather annoying. I think it will probably clear away. I hope it will clear away. If it doesn't, I can still get some interesting sky shots, but I won't be able to get the really richly detailed Milky Way shots that, if I'm honest, I'm really after tonight. So I'm going to hang around for a bit. Hopefully this will clear over, then we can get the tracker out and hopefully start taking some Milky Way shots. Okay, so I might be struggling a bit with the cloud, but over in the sort of northwest, or northeast rather at the moment, I've got a reasonably clear view of Cassiopeia and the Perseus region. So I'm actually going to do some tracked sky shots, or I am doing some tracked sky shots of that area now, and then I'll get the foreground from essentially the other side of the control tower in just a second. I'm shooting with the modified Canon 6D, Sigma Art 24mm f1.4 lens. I'm at f2, ISO 800, 60-second exposures with a 2-second interval. Probably do 15 or so of these and then stack them. And I'm sure there'll be a bit of cloud in the image, but you know, it tells the story of the night. And then hopefully over to the south to southeast, we're going to start getting some Milky Way action very shortly. Now, you might have noticed that I've started to use the Move Shoot Move Nomad tracker. This is actually only my second outing with it. So far, I really like it. I love the simplicity of it. I love how light and compact it is. My pack with all my camera and video gear typically weighs 16 or 17 kilos, and then a litre of water adds another kilo to it. So being able to take the roughly 2 kilos or so of the Star Adventurer and replace it with this really compact unit really is a meaningful difference to the size of my pack, particularly if I've got to walk any particular distance. So far, seems pretty well made to me. I love the laser polar alignment. I think that is so super simple. I've never used a laser pointer aligner before, but I absolutely love it. I mean, assuming you've got no aircraft within the line of sight, it's an absolutely brilliantly simple way to polar align. It really, really is. So I'm looking forward to many, many happy years with this little bit of kit. I'm not going to do a full review of it. Generally, so far, I really like it. At 24mm and 60-second exposure, I'm getting very clearly pinpoint stars, as you would expect. I've not really tried anything at say 135mm yet, but do go out there. There are plenty of reviews online of this tracker now, but so far from me it's a big thumbs up. Okay, well, as these shots get finished off and the moon starts to rise behind me, it's time to call that a night. It's really clear that this cloud is not going to get any better. So I think I've got some salvageable images of the Milky Way and also of the Cassiopeia and Perseus regions as well. So hopefully there's some good images I've been able to salvage from this evening. My strong suspicion is that the star trails time lapse that I took is going to be a bit of a bust. It's basically got cloudier and cloudier over to the north, so I think all you'll see is that cloud rushing in and there won't be any usable star trails at all. But I tell you what, I am really glad that I've found this location, and I will definitely be back. It's a reasonably dark site. I mean, you've got a bit of light pollution down to the south, which I guess is Wisbeach, and over to the east, which is King's Lynn, and then some muck over there to the west. But it's not bad, and it's such a cool building. I definitely want to get a decent star trail shot over this at some point, and I'll definitely be back to do so. I also think it would work really well with Orion in the winter, although of course during the winter the marsh is likely to be a lot marshier, so it might be slightly more challenging to get the angle that I want, but definitely think I'll come back and try. I imagine in the winter as well that the wind off the wash here and over the marshland will be bitter, so when I come back in the winter, definitely need to make sure that I am wrapped up. But if you made it this far, thank you very much indeed for watching. Really appreciate you watching the channel. The best way you can support these videos is by giving them a like and also commenting on the video as well. That really helps the visibility of the videos on YouTube. So I'd really appreciate that if you're able to. But if you made it this far, thanks very much indeed for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on another adventure very soon.